Okay, in this quick video, I want to talk a little bit about animating or sort of like doing a cinematic or storyboard type of video inside Photoshop. And I am by no means a storyboarder or a animator, but when I was working on the little teaser trailer, I wanted to get some sort of like storyboard sort of process to it, so to try to sort of time and figure out what the shots were going to be for my for the little teaser. And so I want to show you as a short part of it, a section of it, because by the time I decided that I wanted to do a cinematic, I had some animations already rendered, especially the ones for like the buildings and some of the shots that I sort of wanted to just animate in general. So you will see a little bit of those already, but there were still some pieces missing that I will sort of talk to as we take a look at this. So I'm gonna play this. So you can see this is the first shot. This is the shot that is sort of like opening with the clouds, and I wanted a shot here to sort of see a settlement in the background and sort of have a character maybe walking and the camera is sort of like flying through or zooming in. On this one, this was one of the very early, probably the first shot that I did once the base kit was sort of like almost complete. And so I wanted to start getting some images done. And I did this first images and I was like, maybe I can use the same setup, the same 3D that I had, maybe add some characters walking here or maybe standing up. Maybe they're dealing with something here on the ground or something like that, just to have some movement while the camera sort of pans or moves in a little bit, and use that to connect that to, so this character is sort of like standing up and then maybe we can see the character, like a close-up of the character or something. And then from there I already had these animations and I sort of put them together. You can see that there's a lot of work in progress over here. But let's go back here to this one in particular. This is the first one here. And again, I had already the uh, sort of like the general idea animated here because I was playing with some animations, but I needed to make it shorter, right? I needed to start dark, like between the clouds or through the clouds, right? And see a little bit of the base and then go into the clouds again. So that was sort of like the general edit that I needed to do with this. And so the way I did some of these sort of like quote unquote storyboards is um, I sort of use each layer that you see here as a second or as a progression of the scene of the shot itself. And so if I go to the very first one, I wanted to start black and sort of ease into the clouds settlement effect. And so if I go through this, so this is shot number 2, so you can see that the clouds are starting to come from the top down and moves down and moves down and moves down like that, right? And little by little, the settlement starts sort of like showing up. So I have a character here walking this way, some other characters over here, and each layer represents sort of like a progression of the shot itself, right? So if you go back, I'm gonna do this a little bit quicker, right? Sort of moves down, right? And so I sort of plan each individual layer just like that, in order for me to then time it inside Photoshop. Now these are done just like a regular sketch, right? Just painted and drew over it, nothing too crazy. Sometimes I would do a layer like this, right? And if I wanted a progression of this, I would just duplicate it, move it down, and I will complete the rest of the layer. So that way I can use what I did before. That way I sort of saved a little bit of time. And once I was done, you go into window, time lapse or timeline, and create video timeline. So I'm gonna select all my layers, create video timeline, and now you can see that each layer here has its own sort of time in here. If I play, this layer's at the top right now, which is my layer number 12. And so that one is so black, so we don't see any difference. But if I go down here and let me select these here. I'm gonna move this to the right. Move this to the right. I'm pressing Control to deselect, just so you can see. But now if I play this, you're gonna see that it starts playing through each individual layer, right? If I continue to do this, let's move this back, move this back, like so. So I sort of set it up like this, and I went to press play, and then this will allow me to sort of start timing the layers depending on the timing that I want it, right? And so I play a little bit with moving this one maybe a little bit forward, maybe this one a little bit closer, maybe this one here, maybe this one further apart, this one a lot more closer, so it moves a little bit faster, right? And sort of timed it. And so this allowed me to sort of play with the actual timing of the sequence. And then that gave me sort of the general idea that for the frames that I needed to do the actual 3D on the scene. And so based on this, I use this to sort of get the timing correct on each scene, making sure that if I need a 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or whatever that case may be, to sort of set it up. But you can see, that I can play it. Maybe we can move these here a little bit back. Sort of like a ladder here. You can see the progression here of each individual layer. Boom. Maybe we can stop there, right? And so now I have a general idea. I can render this out, and this will give me a good idea for my scene. So this is a quick way, for people like us that we're not really storyboarders or animators, by themselves. Like this is a great way to at least get a general idea of what we want and represent it, and then move on to the next object or to the next process of it. And so I took this video, I checked out how many frames I need or seconds. Then I went back to the 3D, made the edits to match whatever I had here, and then from that rendering, then it was just a matter of putting it in the actual final file in Premiere for the cinematic. All right. So I hope that helps and gives you an idea of things that you could do with this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.